Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight to the Smithfield Town Council meeting, Tuesday, May 7th. 1 second, sorry. There was one vote taken in executive session, 5-0 in favor to move to authorize the Smithfield law to reach an agreement with Joseph Ritchie on custom construction services in case number 1:20-CV-00543-MSM-PAS. Moving on to a prayer. We come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
Amen.
Salute to the flag. Thank you. Emergency evacuations and health notifications.
Thank you, Council President. There's two main exits from the Town Council chambers. To the left of the stage, up the stairs, will take you out the back of the building. Out the back of the Council chambers, to your right, those stairs will take you out the front of the building. Just past that on the right is a men's facility. The stairs to the left is ladies' facility. Please do not use the elevator in time of emergency.
Thank you, sir. Item 5, presentations. We have the Smithfield Youth Council here tonight.
Hello, my name is Ava Bruley, and I am the chairperson of the Smithfield Youth Council. Tonight, I am joined by
Maddie Swallow, member of the Smithfield Youth Council.
and Reese Rossi, the media chairperson of Smithfield Youth Council. As the Smithfield Youth Council 2023 to 2024 session comes to a close, the council will be electing its next set of executive board officers for the 2024 to 2025 year. There are a few requirements that members must meet if they wish to become candidates for a position, and they are as follows. The candidate must have at least a six-month continuous active membership, and the candidate must have led a committee/project or be in the process of leading one. During our full council meeting on May 23, 2024, eligible candidates for all positions will give a speech to the council about why they are running for their chosen position and how they will impact the Smithfield Youth Council if elected. Following the meeting, members will vote for a candidate for each position on a Google form, which will stay open up to 2 days after the speeches take place. Before the start of the next Smithfield Youth Council session, this past year's executive board will meet with the newly elected executive board to review all executive responsibilities and procedures that will be applicable for the 2024 to 2025 year. On Saturday, April 20th, 2024, the Smithfield Youth Council held its first Earth Day event. The event, named Seeds of Change Pollinator Party, focused on environmental education through hands-on activities and crafts. Ben Toma, Veronica Lilly, and Dhruvi Patel were the leaders for this event, which was a full council effort. The activities that were held at this event included an Earth Day themed board game, flower pot painting, a pine cone bird feeder craft, seed planting, and bug rock painting. Each of the activities had an educational aspect in order to help event attendees become more informed about their environment and how they can positively contribute to it. For example, at the bug rock painting station, attendees would choose a bug that they would like to learn about, and a Smithfield Youth Council member would inform them about how the bug benefits the environment by interacting with other organisms. Then, attendees could paint the bug they learned about on a rock or choose a different bug to paint. At another station, attendees could learn how to properly plant a flower seed. They would do so in a biodegradable pot, which they could take home and use to start their own garden. Unfortunately, on the day that the event was held, it was raining outside, meaning that the council could not plant the garden and construct the bug habitat that were meant to be included as the main focal points of the event. Therefore, the council plans to host a similar event sometime in the near future with hopes of a greater turnout and a larger selection of activities. This past weekend, the Smithfield Youth Council participated in the Smithfield Special Education Local Advisory Committee's Color Run as an event sponsor. At the event, council members ran a table that provided information about the council's purpose and upcoming projects about the community.
The leader of the paper crane project was Rocco Salmonstanza. Paper cranes symbolize gifts, wishes, and even entertainment. The paper crane is believed to have special powers. In Japan, the crane is a symbol of both longevity and fortune. Perhaps that's why it's one of the most popular origami creations. The origami craft event was structured by using colored square papers. We taught the attendees how to make paper cranes step by step by using a slideshow and hands-on demonstration. Rocco plans to continue this event throughout the community over the next year. Also, we attended an off-site team building session hosted by Half Full. The morning started with a few icebreakers before discussing qualities of a good leader. We broke out into teams for brainstorming and also played a few games. The day concluded with an open discussion on current topics impacting youth.
During the week of St. Patrick's Day, Kai Gaffney and I put together the Lucky Leprechaun Trap building event. This event was held at the Greenville Public Library and was a craft for the youth. The members of the Smithfield Youth Council gathered recycled materials to use to create the traps. We decided on using these materials in a lead-up on our Earth Day event. Other supplies used were glitter, construction paper, ribbon, markers, and many other craft supplies that were provided by the Smithfield Youth Council members or the library. Throughout the afternoon, children could drop in and leave as they pleased. The Smithfield Youth Council members assisted some of the children in creating their leprechaun traps, and others did it on their own. This was a great way to get the kids ready for St. Patrick's Day and allowed them to be creative when making their own traps. Kai and I are going to be holding a Smithfield Youth Council anti-vaping education night on May 15th from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Town Council Chambers in Smithfield Town Hall. During the event, we are going to teach the audience about vaping and its common myths, vaping prevention tactics, and quit resources to help teens. There will also be a group of panelists that will be discussing with the audience about the vaping epidemic based on their experts in this field. The audience will be receiving first-hand opinions on student perspectives on vaping, considering the fact Kaya and I have seen the issues that have arisen in middle school and high school. Our goal is to inform the parents of Smithfield High School and Gallagher Middle School about the vaping issues that is very prevalent throughout these schools. We want to bring awareness to these issues because in those cases, parents are unaware of what is happening in the school regarding these sensitive topics. Over April vacation, Kai and I presented a workshop at the Turn Up RI Youth Summit. We were invited to do our presentation after meeting with members of Half Full when the Smithfield Youth Council took part in their team building activities. The workshop was based on our anti-bullying presentation that was given to the parents of Gallagher Middle School and Smithfield High School last spring. We took the presentation to be workshop-based, allowing for more discussion with the audience. Throughout the presentation, we used parts of our data gathered from our original presentation. However, we made a majority of the information more broad considering the students were not from Smithfield schools. Most of the information and statistics were from RIDE. Based on the data and statistics, we were able to ask questions regarding the bullying issues at other schools and in other towns. Also, we allowed the students to break up into groups and create their ideal or non-ideal conversation with their parents regarding bullying. These were shared with everyone in the room and allowed for more discussion on how parents should react when their child comes to them regarding bullying in person or online. Thank you for listening to our presentation. The Smithfield Youth Council looks forward to sharing our progress with you all in the future as we begin our 2024 to 2025 session in June. Thank you.
Can you get the list? Thank you very much. We have another presentation tonight, special recognition for Adele Cabral.
Thank you, Mr. President. Adele Cabral, can you step forward, please? Yeah, you got to make a speech.
I do? Oh, jeez.
A certificate of recognition from the Town Council in the Town of Smithfield to Adele Cabral, providing 35 years of teaching math, outstanding service, enthusiastic leadership to the Smithfield High School students, and being awarded the prestigious Adamo Mac DeRobio Lifetime Contributor Award by the State of Rhode Island and the Mathematics Teachers Association. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why do I smell?
All right, item 6, minutes. Move that the minutes of the April 2nd, 2024 executive session meeting held pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws, Section 42-46-5A2, potential litigation be approved as recorded and sealed.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item B, move that the minutes of the April 2nd, 2024 open session meeting be approved as recorded.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 7, there are no reappointments or possible appointments. Item 8, public hearings. A, schedule a public hearing on June 4th, 2024 to consider and act upon amendments to the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 11, entitled Boards and Commissions, sponsored by Council members Rachel Toppy and Michael Iannotti.
Mr. President, I'd like to say a few words on this ordinance amendment. This actually came about after I happened to see a post on social media from a councilwoman in another Rhode Island city who posted that she was proposing this ordinance. I thought it was a great idea and in line with my beliefs on open government, transparency, and accountability. So naturally, I wanted to bring it before the council here, and I asked Vice President Iannotti to co-sponsor it with me. So thank you to the councilwoman for sharing this. This amendment requires that all town boards and commissions, including the town council, allow public comment, whether the comment is regarding docketed or undocketed matters, as long as it is in the jurisdiction of whatever board they are speaking to. The chairs of each board are permitted to set reasonable limits on speaking if they wish. So I will read you the purpose. The purpose of this section is to promote government transparency and accountability by encouraging residents to participate in public meetings, thereby providing a forum for them to provide input, including the expression of any concerns they may have regarding the town government. Why is this important, you ask? Right now, we have a council president, President Lawton, and chairs of boards and commissions who would allow individuals from the public to speak at meetings if they so desire. However, it is important to set the stage for the future by protecting the public's ability to hold their government accountable, especially with the way the world is going these days. We don't know if there may be a council president or a chair of a specific board who will not allow people to speak for whatever reason. It is important to solidify this in official capacity. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's important that participation be meaningful. And I think it's a great thing that here in Smithfield, we allow people to speak even though we don't have a formal hearing and inform us of what they think of their opinions on pretty much everything that we do up here. So I think that when Councilwoman Toppy proposed putting this in an ordinance, I just think it's a great idea and is reflective of how we look at government in Smithfield.
Thank you.
Motion to schedule a public hearing for June 4th, 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item B, consider scheduling a show cause hearing on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, to consider, discuss, and act upon the possible suspension, revocation, or other sanction regarding the listed mobile food trucks due to non-renewal or non-compliance with the conditions of renewal.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item C, consider scheduling a show cause hearing on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, to consider, discuss, and act upon the possible suspension, revocation, or other sanction regarding the listed holiday sales licenses due to non-renewal or non-compliance with the condition of renewal.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Licenses, item A, consider, discuss, and act upon approving 2 one-day special event licenses for Watlau Budava of Rhode Island, Inc. for Lao New Year celebration, 88 Lime Rock Road, on the following dates: Saturday, May 18, 2024, and Sunday, May 19, 2024.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item B. Do they want to speak? No. Consider, discuss, and act upon approving the annual renewal of 13 holiday sales licenses as listed as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item C, consider, discuss, and act upon approving the annual renewal of 2 bingo licenses as listed as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item D, consider, discuss, and act upon approving the annual renewal of 4 massage establishment licenses as listed as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item E, consider, discuss, and act upon approving the annual renewal of 5 massage therapy licenses as listed as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item F, consider, discuss, and act upon approving a 1-day special event license for the Smithfield Parks and Rec Department for a food truck event at 1 William J. Hawkins Trail on the following date, Tuesday, May 16, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item G, consider, discuss, and act upon approving a 1-day beer wine license for the Smithfield Senior Center as follows: for the Super Ages Wine and Cheese event held on Thursday, May 16th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item H, consider, discuss, and act upon the annual renewal of 5 peddlers licenses as listed as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item I, consider, discuss, and act upon approving 2 new mobile food truck licenses for Dell's Lemonade and Refreshments, Inc., DBA Dell's Lemonade, and with a Rhode Island Reg 51922 on both push carts, as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Item J, consider, discuss, and act upon approving a mobile food truck license for Castle Pasetta LLC DBA Lobster Cart, Rhode Island, 15 Redwood Drive, North Providence, with Rhode Island Reg number 1PP551, as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Item 10, old business, there is none. Item 11, new business. Consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for a proposal to finish and replace a defogging unit at the Smithfield Ice Rink, subject to review by the town solicitor.
Council President, members of the council, I think that's furnished, just, I don't want to, haven't started it yet. But in any event, this is a piece of equipment that was installed in the rink in 1994, so it's seen its useful life. Matter of fact, we had the contractors come out and take a look at it, our regular vendor, and they can't find parts for it anymore, so it's just, the one we have is not going to work at all. So we're actually asking the council for an RFP to go out for a new ice rink defogger. It's a Thermal Plus unit, and also the accompanying equipment that goes along with it.
What do they typically go for?
The price that I got on the bid for my contract, well, not bid, but the pricing I got for my contractor was $55,000. Doesn't mean it's going to go for that, hopefully it less.
Sounds like a lot.
It's hoping.
Mr. Fogger's older than I am.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's basically a dehumidifying unit.
Yeah.
And this one is particularly important to the rink because it's right over the Zamboni garage door, which opens out to the external, the outside, especially in the warmer months, as we're getting into now.
Yep. All right, thank you.
So moved.
We need a second first. One second.
Second.
Okay.
Good evening, Tom Hodgkins, 200 Farnham Pike. What's the proposed source of funding for this?
Tom. Look.
Sure. Tom Hodgkins, 200 Farnham Pike. What's the proposed source of funding for this?
Mr. Tully?
Thank you. The Capital Reserve Fund for the ice rink is the proposed source of funding.
Okay, and this was not in the capital plan budget, correct?
Was that included in there?
It's not in the CIP is what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure, I just don't remember. Was that not in there or planned for?
We've put this in the CIP, not this particular unit. It was more elaborate in regards to servicing the entire building, but this would service what we need right now.
So did you have something that was of a larger magnitude and this is going to accomplish what we need? So say it was a $400,000 unit and you had that in the CIP, but this is going to accomplish what you need?
Yes, this is going to accomplish what we need. We'll operate as we are right now, which we have not had issues. The CIP provision would be an improvement to the building for a, I guess, wider range dehumidification.
So what you budgeted for is more than what this may cost? Is that what you're saying?
No, what we put in the CIP is a more expensive allocation for the building. It's a desiccant dehumidification system.
Okay.
At the time, I priced that out previously, it's over 6 figures.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand all that, but I guess my concern is we've got a piece of equipment from 1994 that's not in the capital improvement plan budget, so this is an additional expense. I'm wondering why that's not in the capital improvement plan. And I'm just asking this in the broader context of the large amount of what's in the capital improvement plan for the ice rink between now and 2030, which I believe is around 10 million, if not more. There's clearly not that amount in the fund to pay for that, and I haven't seen anything, we've talked about this in the budget, I don't see how that money is going to be raised. So I'm just wondering why it's not in the capital improvement plan, what else can we expect, and then we have these additional expenses that are in the capital budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, just to answer that question, this particular unit is not in the capital improvement program because it was expected that it would last. We can't find parts for it, it broke down. I don't think there's anything that we could foresee in that respect. It's inspected on a yearly basis. The issue is the compressor on the unit. So this is going to be actually an improvement for the building. It's going to use a EPA-approved refrigerant rather than the one that it uses now. But I mean, we would probably forego that desiccant system if we're going to invest this amount of money in this particular unit right now.
Okay, thank you.
So the funds come, of course, from the ice rink
Yes.
revenues.
Yes.
And you said that there was a larger unit in the capital improvement plan. Are you going to be purchasing that as well, or is this instead of?
I would tend to think we're not going to make that investment if we're going to replace this unit itself at this time.
Thank you.
Maybe in a larger investment into the building from the town, but not on a single unit purchase.
So we're technically saving money.
Correct.
Thank you.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item B, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing the purchase of one 2023 Chevy Tahoe through the Greater Boston Police Council in the amount of $58,819.59 to be funded through the Police Equipment Fund.
Good evening. Back in February, we lost a cruiser to a collision in town. That vehicle was totaled, and whenever we lose a cruiser, it has a ripple effect on the entire fleet. So we're looking to replace that cruiser, which was a 2016 Ford Interceptor. We're looking to replace that with a 2023 Chevy Tahoe. We did get a check from the insurance company for the other vehicle in the amount of $6,238. So the total cost for the Tahoe would be $58,819.59. This Tahoe is immediately available for us. We literally had a conversation with a dealership today. They're waiting for us to call them tomorrow and tell them that this has been approved by the council. And I anticipate that we would have this vehicle fully equipped, ready to go by Friday if we have the council's approval, which is extremely unusual for these car dealerships. So with the council's approval, I'd ask that you authorize the purchase of this Tahoe through the Greater Boston Police Council bid in the amount of $58,819.59.
When you have an unexpected event like this, how do you deal with the fact that the budget is already in place? How do you get the money for it when the budget's already in place?
So we have a police equipment fund that was set up a long time ago, back in the late 80s by the town council, to assist us with the purchase of police equipment such as cruisers. That fund is funded by ticket revenues. So that is where the money comes from, if that answers your question. So the money is always there for the purchase of police equipment.
So this would be in addition to what was budgeted for in the 2023, 2024 budget? This would be adding to it?
This would be a replacement of an existing vehicle, so it is a vehicle that we did not anticipate having to purchase.
Right, yeah, and this is a lot more than what you got for the insurance, obviously.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But just to add, if we don't purchase this vehicle and we wait until after July 1st and we place our usual cruiser order, this particular vehicle is going to cost about another $15,000. So it's to our benefit to buy it at this price now to replace a vehicle that the lack of is impacting our entire fleet.
Chief, in that accident, were you able to get insurance money?
Yeah, we got unfortunately, it was just $6,238. That was the insurance money that we got. We were not at fault.
Chief, is the reason you're not replacing it with the same type of vehicle Ford Interceptor is because the Tahoe's available, or is it because of a different reason?
A, because the Tahoe is available, but there is a trend to move away from the Ford Interceptors and move into the Tahoes. The Tahoes lately are less expensive than the Ford Interceptors.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you.
Move passage.
Seconded.
Any more discussion? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item C, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing construction of a disc golf course at Deerfield Park. We have some people here tonight. How you doing?
I waited long enough.
Dave, could you turn that on again for us, please? Thank you.
Yeah, can you decide? Thank you.
I'll start while that warms up. Good evening, Council President, Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you Deerfield Disc Golf Course. Deerfield Park has been, since its Phase 1 opened in 1997, the center of Smithfield recreation. My hope is that disc golf will be the next recreational opportunity made available at Deerfield Park. Well, what is disc golf? Next slide. Disc golf is played much like golf, except instead of a ball and clubs, players use a flying disc. The sport was formalized in the 1970s and shares with golf the object of completing each hole in the fewest strokes, or in the case of disc golf, the fewest throws. How do you play? A disc golf hole begins from a tee area and ends at a target, the most common of which is an elevated metal basket. As each player progresses down the fairway, he or she must make consecutive throw from the spot where the previous throw landed. And in group play, the farthest away player away throws first. So the player should not get ahead of the away player. The trees, shrubs, and terrain changes located in and around the fairways provide a challenging obstacle for the golfer. When the putt lands in the basket, the hole is complete. Here in this next slide is an example of a tee pad where a hole starts, and a basket, which is where the hole ends. I brought with me a basket tonight. Just so you can see this, this is a miniature. This is a disc. What you'll do is you start on a tee pad, you throw it to a basket in the same form as you would with a ball golf. You try to do it in the fewest amount of throws possible. In this next photo you'll see here, each black disc golf basket represents an 18-hole disc golf course. Northern Rhode Island is blank. This means that many of us who play frequently may drive up to an hour to get to a course. Connecticut, our neighbor to the west, has over 50 disc golf courses. Massachusetts, to our north, has almost 100 courses and will likely break that number this year. Rhode Island has 5. Disc golf in our area of the country is considered to be heavily wooded courses with tight lines and interesting topography. Disc golf course design fits in well with our area because disc golfers prefer to have a diversity in course design, which New England offers naturally. All over New England, courses have been built in town parks, conservation land, preserves, and in land trust properties as passive recreation. This is possible because disc golf has a low environmental impact. You can go to the next slide. It is played using the land's natural beauty, using in its design whatever a particular piece of property has to offer. Low environmental impact also means that there is no extensive clearing of trees. One of the common misconceptions with disc golf is that you have to clear land and have green fairways like a ball golf course. This is not the case with disc golf. Specifically speaking of Deerfield Park, the proposed design would mean that much of the existing property would actually be cleaned up and freed of downed tree limbs or precarious limbs that could potentially be dangerous to walkers. This activity is one that gets the entire family out into nature and provides a safe, environmentally friendly recreation to a large swath of residents. People of all ages can play this sport. My kids, ages 7, 8, and 10, started playing at 5 and 6 years old. My father, who is almost 70, is actively playing every single week and is still playing in tournaments. And if I do say so myself, he's pretty good. The Professional Disc Golf Association, the governing body of this sport, recognizes divisions for under 8 years old and for divisions over 80. This recreational opportunity serves a diverse population, both in age and in skill. This next slide, you'll see the proposed design for Deerfield Disc Golf Course. As you will see in this image, there will be a kiosk displaying course information and rules located between Blackhawk Trail and the Little League field. From there, the course is spread along the Bruce Ewart trails, as well as utilizes space in the northeastern corner of the property. Using this current configuration, we walk the property with Randy Rossi, Michael Phillips, Bobby Kane, as well as the coaches for the track and field who frequent these trails. In our design, we wanted to consider those who most use the areas we wanted to design in. Each hole has been designed to be away from walking trails and consider those who most use the area. I would like to reference back to one of the first slides I showed the council. With almost 15,000 courses worldwide, 50% of those are in public parks. It has been shown in this sport time and time again that disc golf and walking trails can live and do live in harmony. The next question we have to answer is how will this be built and who will pay for it? Disc golf, in addition to having a low environmental impact, is also low cost, relatively speaking, for recreation. The proposed course you have seen tonight will cost under $20,000. To raise these funds, we will have T-Sign sponsors, founding members, private donations, and also a grant from a New England-based disc golf organization. First, let's start with T-Signs. As you see on the screen here, each hole will have a hole map so that players will be able to identify where to throw and where to throw safely. This sign is 12 by 18 inches. Below each T-sign will be a sponsored by sign, which will be 10 inches by 10 inches. Local Smithfield businesses will sponsor each sign, one for each of the 18 holes. Next, I have put together 9 individuals who are each donating to Deerfield Disc Golf Course as what we are calling founding members. One of these founding members is a graphic designer, a professional, and he's agreed to donate his time to design a professional course map as well as 18 T-signs. And I believe each of you have been given a detailed breakdown of cost. As for building, we have compiled a significant list of volunteers who will be partnering with the town to build the course. Keeping in mind the town council's consideration, we would set up volunteer days to build Deerfield Disc Golf Course. And if approved, we believe that this could be done by the end of summer. In addition to being built by volunteers, myself and a few other of the founding members will be volunteering our time to maintain the course. Lastly, this last slide, disc golf courses use what is called a pay-to-play method. Located at the main kiosk would be the course map and a QR code for the town PayPal account. The sign would read $5 to play all day. Based on course averages in our area, Deerfield Disc Golf Park could expect between 2,000 and 2,500 rounds a year. That's averaging between 39 and 48 rounds a week, or 5 to 7 rounds per day. This means that by adding Deerfield Disc Golf Course as the town's next recreational opportunity, the course will pay for its own limited maintenance and replacement of equipment if needed, as well as be a financial support for other recreational opportunities in town or other town needs. Thank you again for your time and your thoughtful consideration.
Sounds very
Mr.
exciting.
President, can
Very
I just
exciting.
make a comment on this? Thank you, John, for being here and presenting. So my suggestion is for the council to table this item for the following reasons. We do not have an official written plan or proposal, rather just a presentation, which is great, but we need a proposal. Additionally, I believe we should have a public hearing on the matter as well. I did some research, and it looks like several town councils across the country have held public hearings, And I think that, getting the public involved would be a good idea. As it stands right now, I'm neither for nor against this disc golf course at Deerfield Park. In general, I'm favorable to the idea of recreation and in being outside. However, I try to look at the pros and cons of everything before me. Additionally, a couple people know this already, but, I unfortunately, I have received a few unfavorable comments from the public about various items, including safety and noise concerns, views that oppose adding more structures to the park, and views that oppose having sponsorship signs all over the park, as it would make the area look more commercialized. I just think it's a little premature. Again, I'm not against this by any means. I just think we need more information, and I would like to have a public hearing. So, I would ask my fellow council members to consider this, and, I want to make a motion to table the item until we have an official proposal and
Correct me if I'm
schedule
wrong.
a public hearing.
I went to a land trust meeting a few months back, and I believe you might have been there. Did you go to a land trust meeting in?
I was on the land trust from 2022 into 2023.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this has been talked about within the group of the land trust, within Chairwoman Rich and everything?
This has been an ongoing conversation in Smithfield for the last 4 years.
Yeah. So this is then.
Councilwoman Toppy, could I ask you a question too? There has been an official proposal given both in budgetary numbers and in a plan for the course that I believe has already been given to every single council member.
No.
No.
Well, what we received was the project budget with a breakdown of the items and an estimate of the source of the funding for it. But I thought you mentioned something to the effect that it would cost 120,000. Is that?
That is incorrect. It's under 20,000.
It's 120,000.
Under.
Incorrect. Under 20,000. Under.
Under 120,000.
Under 20.
Oh, under 20,000.
20000.
Because I have 18,500.
Correct.
Is that the correct amount?
Correct.
Okay. So I heard it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, I would also like to, I'd like to see, a formal agreement between the town and the club, setting forth, what everybody is supposed to do before we actually vote on approving this. That way, there can be no misunderstandings, as to, the role of the public body and the private body. I assume this is going to be all overseen by the Recreation Department Director, Parks and Recreation.
Correct, sir.
And this would be the town's property. The club is simply volunteering our time to maintain so that there's no extra weight put on the town or the town budget.
Right.
Or the Parks and Rec Department budget.
I have a question, Mr. President. In your presentation, I didn't see anything about insurance. Are you going to have a policy that covers the town? That's, God forbid, somebody gets hurt?
So I don't know about the town's insurance policy for Deerfield Park.
I don't care about the town's insurance policy.
Yeah.
I want yours.
Do I have one personally?
No, we need to have an insurance policy. God forbid somebody gets hurt and it makes the town not liable.
What about an individual coming to play soccer on the field?
I
How is it
believe
any?
the soccer associations, Little League, have insurance, correct?
Council, if the activity is managed by the town, if it's obviously a town function, we're covered under our own policy. We can get the specifics on that in the Rhode Island Local Trust.
Yeah, but that's not what was presented to us on that slide. They're gonna run it.
We would be volunteering our time to maintain it so that there's no extra weight on the Parks and Rec Department.
I get all that, but if somebody gets hurt, somebody gets a Frisbee in the head or something like that, are we on the hook?
Yes.
Is the town on the hook?
Because it really what it is, Councilman, is it would be the towns. They're volunteering to help us
Right.
get this completed. It's going to be a town project. It's going to be a town, added activity for recreation. They're just offering to help get the seed money as well as to help volunteer the labor as well.
And if I might, Councilmember Tassoni, it's no different of an activity where I was walking to take my daughter to soccer practice and got hit by a lacrosse ball. It's no different than any other activity taking place at Deerfield where it has its inherent risks.
Don't get me wrong, I'm in favor of it,
Yeah.
but I just want to make sure the town is held not liable if somebody gets hurt. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Would be liable.
No, I understand.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Depending on the circumstances.
Oh, of course, of course.
But the Little League has a field there in Deerfield, correct? The Soccer Association, they have insurances, right?
Correct, because they're separate entities that are operating on our field. They're not actually operating this group.
I don't feel comfortable.
It's just not specifically laid out what the volunteers are doing and what the town's doing, and that's another issue I have. I mean, I'm not opposed, I need more detail, and I'd like the public's input as well, because I have received unfavorable comments, so I feel that it's only right to do so.
If I could ask the council a question, this is considered passive recreation, which is why it's done in so many land trusts and other areas in New England specifically. Would it be any different liability-wise than a basketball court being open to the public, or a tennis court being open, or a playground with children on it? Is it any different liability-wise than any of those things?
Would these structures, with the baskets, would they be up all year round, or do they come down in the winter, or how does that work?
It is a year-long activity that can be played all year.
And to be clear, again, this would be run by the Parks and Recreation Department, not you.
Correct. We'd be volunteering to
You're
them.
volunteering for maintenance and upkeep. Would any trees have to be cut down to put this course in?
We walked around, again, with Randy Rossi, Michael Phillips, and a few others. We noticed there's a lot of dead debris on the ground, and there's some small patches of pine trees that are thick that need to be cleared. But other than that, a lot of the space that's being used is open space with minimal work being done in the woods.
Now, the parts of this course go through the cross-country trail,
That's correct, yeah.
and it would not interfere with that trail, or would it interfere with it?
It would not. So one of the reasons we did that walk with the cross-country folks is we wanted to make sure that what we were doing did not interfere at all with what they were doing, and get their input on the trails, both of whom were in favor of it, thought that it would not get in the way of anything they were doing, nor would be in the way of even the passive walker moving through on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm leaning in favor of this, but I don't like to vote on something without seeing it all laid out in writing. And so, I'm not even saying there has to be a formal agreement or anything, but just have it laid out. Who's going to do what, and make it clear that it's, being run by Parks and Recreation. And then we can vote on it probably at our next meeting. And we can also have I don't know how far we want to go with advertising it to the public, but the public could come there.
It's just a disc golf course. This is detail enough for me, so I'm in favor of it.
I have a motion on the table.
Second?
You have a motion and a second. Is there discussion on the motion to table this item until the next meeting, Rachel?
So I made a motion to table the item until we have an official, whatever you want to call it, plan proposal. And I included a schedule of public hearing, so I don't know if you want to.
Seconded by Councilmember Ionati.
All right, so
There's a motion on the floor right now.
the table.
Or
All those in
should-
favor of that?
Well,
Sorry.
can we,
Maybe split
what
it.
is included in the motion?
Yeah, so I added the public hearing. I feel we should have one, but if you want to,
Okay, a public hearing is kind of a term of art. Are you talking about that we have to put an ad in the paper, or just have it at our regular meeting on the agenda like this is now, where the public looks at the agenda and comes?
listen, I'm open. Like I said, I researched it, and That's the general trend across the country, is that
Yeah,
they've
saying
held
I'm
public
open-
hearings.
Saying I'm open, you can't put that in a motion.
Sean, what I said
No,
was,
please just clarify. I'm not
I
getting
am clarifying.
argumentating.
I'm saying want to schedule a public hearing, a normal
Okay, what does
public
that
hearing.
mean to you?
Normal public hearing
Okay.
where we advertise it in the paper.
In the paper.
Correct.
You got it out. That's in the motion.
But if people are upset about this, they'll come to it anyway without having a public hearing, right? I mean,
It's just a suggestion after doing my research.
I didn't get any calls, and I'm
I didn't
okay
either.
with, Mr. President, I'm okay with the explanation.
So you have a motion and a second.
So we have to vote on that?
You have to vote on it. The motion includes
I can-
public hearing provision, and until, it's not tabled until the next meeting, until the town council receives information relative to the administration of, how the administration of this course is going to work.
Correct.
Once the town manager receives that, he can schedule put it on as an agenda item.
If the consensus also is to not want to schedule a public hearing, I mean, at least have something in writing. I'd be,
So vote on that. All those in favor?
aye.
Nay?
Nay.
We have another motion?
Motion to approve.
Pending.
Pending, pending a detailed description about who's performing duties at Deerfield Park.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Item C, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing construction of a shed for the Smithfield Little League at Deerfield Park.
Hi, Shannon Turner, 133 Farnham Pike. The Smithfield Little League is coming before you today to ask that we get a shed built at Deerfield. The bottom level would be to house all of our equipment that we have a lot of, and the second story would be to be able to call the games. Smithfield Little League will pay for the entire construction of the shed, and will make repairs as needed. And we are just looking for the council's approval.
Thank you.
When you say shed, do you mean shed with a press box or a shed?
A two-story shed, the top we're going to use as a press box.
So Ms. Turner, I just wanted to be clear about something.
Sure.
We had spoken about this before, and it was asked about a shed like soccer had, which was a dropped shed, bought, from the street, you can buy them on Route 6, shed.
Right.
I was completely shocked when I saw a shed with a press box on top of it, which is a permanent structure, which is a completely different animal, and that's why we started with the questions yesterday.
Okay, I understand. We asked for the shed, and then when we were at opening day, it was, how do we maybe we should just make the shed have a second story. It's still essentially a shed. You can buy a shed at Home Depot with 2 floors. So it can still be dropped, essentially. We were going to build it ourselves. We have contractors that are part of our board, so it would be much cheaper for us to do it that way. Again, we'd go through the process of permits and make sure that we're doing it all, to the town's specifications.
And where's it going to go?
So I sent two places, because it was 2 different ideas. If the press box goes in, it goes behind home plate, so where the fence is, it'll go right against the fence, with the window opening on the second floor looking over the field, and at the opposite end on the first floor would be the entrance into the shed.
Okay.
So there would be no town funds involved in the construction
No
of the
town
shed?
funds.
Who uses this field besides the Smithfield Little League? Does anyone else use it?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, Smithfield Little League is, during the season, from spring to fall, we're there all the time. And we would have more board members present with us, but we decided being on the field with the kids was more important than being here, so.
Where's the team?
Next time. We spared you.
Good group of kids.
I think that with this one, we definitely need a memorandum of understanding. Also, I think, we need to, if there are a lot of issues here that could arise, because you're going to be keeping your equipment there, and if someone steals the equipment, there's a question of liability.
Our equipment is in the concession stand as it stands, so we cannot
Right now.
use the concession stand if the equipment's housed in there. So the equipment's going to be there, whether it's in a shed or
Right.
in the building.
Sorry, Mr. President, I have a question. And what would be the proposed, is it one or two? Which one do we determine which, if it's going on the spot? There's two sites for this proposed place.
There are two sites. If we can do, if the council will approve us to do the press box, we'd like to do it behind Hope Plate for obvious reasons. If not, we'll move the shed to the side. It doesn't need to be behind Home Plate any longer.
And even if we approve the press box, it wouldn't cost the town anything additional to the shed. So, right, but it's a different structure altogether.
Well, we're not paying anything in this at all.
Little League is paying for it all.
So you obviously want the press box in addition to the shed.
Yeah,
So
it just makes sense. I mean, Smithfield Little League has made a name for itself over the last 12 months. These kids are nationally known, and it's not fair to them to have a subpar field.
Would you need, electrical permits and will there be water, or is this?
No water needed. There's water at the concession stand to spray the field and all of those kind of things, so we don't need to do that. We would do electricity in there. Again, we'd go through the whole permitting process with the town to make sure we were, submit our plans and all of those things, so.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we accept it, provided that they give the building official a drawing of what's going to be there and accepted by the town of Smithfield.
seconded. That's something you can,
I,
You had a first and a second, you had a motion and a second, now you got discussion on the motion.
So,
I think that we need to have a memorandum of understanding, especially if we have a press box. What if somebody falls out of the press box?
We already have it.
What if somebody falls out of the press box at Whipple?
We already have a,
The Little League has insurance.
Well,
Smithfield Little League has insurance.
it's, what do you think? You're the town solicitor. You should. Yeah.
excuse me, Anthony. Additionally, this is another situation where we don't have a plan in front of us. I would like to see, I'm not privy to what the soccer structure looks like. I don't know what the dimensions are. I don't know if there's trees being cut down.
There are no
that kind of
trees that
thing.
need to be cut.
So, additionally, again, I don't have a plan in front of me. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it's proper procedure to approve something without a plan. And I agree with the memorandum of understanding, because there's going to be two parties involved, a private organization and the town. We just want to be safe, cover all our bases, and I want to know what I'm approving is where I stand. So I'm not opposed to it. I just want to know.
Yeah,
I just have a question, Councilwoman. When you mean you want to have a plan up in place, as a homeowner, if I were to do a shed, the town would approve that to their standards. This is very similar. So we're going to go through the proper channels with the town to make sure that the structure's exactly as needed to be with the building inspector. I'm not quite sure what the difference is.
The difference is you're in front of us for approval, you're not in front of the building official. So
Okay.
if I'm approving something, I just want to know what I'm approving is all. I like to be informed. Again, I'm not opposed to it at all. It's just the same kind of concept,
Especially where we're talking about a permanent structure. So,
Yeah,
some of these
exactly.
other structures we're talking about are not permanent. They can be easily removed. So I think that, we need to have some kind of agreement. Maybe even our insurer has to approve it. Is that correct?
Well, it would be a building that's added to the insurance policy from an insurer.
We do have our own insurance as well. However, if this needed to be unassembled for whatever reason, we could certainly take it apart. It's not, I mean, you keep saying it's going to be there forever. It doesn't, it hopefully will be, but it's the same, it's a shed.
What size?
It's just a two-story shed.
16 by 8 or something like that?
Yeah, I think we were going to do a concrete slab, where is it? 12 by 12, two-story shed.
I mean, it would be good to have that information, and I thank you for answering my questions. And I asked who is constructing it, and you said volunteers. So, you know, I mean, who are these people? Are they, you know, builders? You know, I mean, I just have questions that I need in front of me to be able to make a decision. I think
They
you
would
made that
have to
clear.
be vetted, licensed contractors, I mean, per the town ordinances as it is. So of course they would be licensed contractors. We just happen to have contractors on our board. So they're not going to charge us, they're going to volunteer their time, use their licenses.
Okay, I mean, next time, I mean, not even in this case, going forward, I mean, it would be nice to have all this information beforehand to make an educated decision.
Ms. Turner, before we can be able to vote on the motion that was put forward by Councilman Tassoni, it does look like Mr. Hutchins, did you want to speak on this matter? Okay, if you could just let him get on.
I just had a general question for the Tom Hoskins, 200 Frontage Pike. Does the town have written policies and procedures for use of public fields by nonprofit groups and for-profit groups in place right now?
Would that be, Bobby?
Just for soccer or any activity.
So in what sense do you mean, Ms. Hodgkin? I just want to make sure I'm answering the question
I just
properly.
think in hearing the last agenda item and this agenda item, I think if the town had a written set of policies and procedures and regulations for nonprofit and for-profit groups to use town fields, I think that would put everybody on a level playing field. It would put everybody on notice of what they need, and it would allow folks like the Little League or the golf people to, you know, come in here knowing what they need and be able to present that to the council. And then everyone gets, you know, treated the same way too. So if we don't have that, I think it may be something that may be worth developing. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. And I can easily answer that now. I was making sure about which way you meant it. So the Parks and Recreation Department is completing that per what was discovered as part of the performance audit. That was one of the items, was developing a detailed policy as well as the fee structure for each of those organizations. So that's in process now, and we're hoping to have it to before the council in the coming weeks. So we'll break that out and specifically name the ones that currently are permitted through the town now, so it's clear X team falls in this category versus just saying nonprofits and profits.
Sure.
Because that
And
also gets gray too.
Yeah, and I bring this up as I know there are a for-profit group that uses a land trust property, and, you know, it's unclear to me what rules, regulations, procedures they're operating under. So, you know, just so everybody's on the same field, I think that may make sense. But thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes? You're gonna come up and state your name, and sorry, I know who you are, but.
Chief Seltz of the Fire Department. Just a suggestion on the motion. It probably should be plan review and permitting process. That way it covers everything. It's going to get classified as a certain type of building. So if you just give it, if you're going to vote on this, that it follow the proper plan review and permitting process of the town, it covers everything, and you don't have to, if you just say.
Good point.
Yeah, and
Good
then
point, Chief.
whatever's required.
I didn't recognize you either. I didn't recognize you.
Thank you.
I amend my motion to what the chief said.
I'll second that.
So for the record, Solicitor Galone, your opinion is that we should have an MOU, is that correct?
There should be some delineation, it's just who's gonna manage it. Just Smithfield Little League's going to manage it, put it in writing, everybody knows their responsibilities.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
do we have that at Whipple? We have the same thing at Whipple.
Yeah, there's a press box at Whipple.
Yeah.
Is that used by just one organization, or is it used by multiple people? Oh, okay, well, that's different then.
The same thing.
No, it's only
Was that
being
was
used
that built
all-
by the town? I don't know. I wasn't here for that. Was that built by the town, or was that built by one of the? That was built by baseball.
Smithfield Little League.
Okay. Okay.
Many moons ago.
So it was built by baseball, and now it's.
Now
it's
softball
okay,
has it.
all right. I was not.
We don't have enough time for that.
No. I appreciate the insight. That's very helpful.
So is there a difference between the way things are being done and the way they should be done.
Well, it's up to this council can set a policy, and basically, if something was done a certain way back when, that doesn't mean it has to be done this way now, and it should be some sort of formal agreement just as to who's gonna take care of what. If it's the Smithfield Little League that's gonna manage it, you know, fine,
Are you looking for more work?
no.
Okay.
I got enough.
All these loose
But it's
ends.
something, it's not, it doesn't have to be complicated, it just delineates
Right,
everybody's
exactly.
responsibility.
So like a simple email saying that Smithfield Little League is going to take care of the press box and upkeep.
And as far as construction, install the foundation,
That was in my original request.
but something simple, doesn't have to be complicated, and then the town can add it, it'll be a town building. Town will add it to its insurance policy, you're covered in case of, you know, some sort of
Anything.
vandalism, or fire, or whatever.
Sure.
And now that this has come up, we should make sure that the other press box too is on the town's, any structures in the park are covered by
You mentioned it.
our town's insurance policy.
Now they know. Coming for you.
Made the motion, you got a second?
Any more discussion? Guys?
So I'm sorry, was there an amendment to the motion?
No, there's a motion's on the table, it's seconded.
What was the motion? Can it be repeated, please?
Oh, that the town will approve it pending plan review and the permitting process. And when the town manager receives those, it will be placed on an agenda for approval.
So we're not adding an agreement of some sorts, whether it's complicated or very simple? We're not adding that to that
Anthony said
motion?
he wanted an email. That's what he said.
Well, that's not in the motion, so.
No, you have a motion on the,
The
in a
first
second.
motion had the memo of agreement in it.
The motion on the table now that you just read does not have an MOU in it.
Correct.
So can we, I mean, I would be in favor of an appropriate MOU. I would approve that. I can't have it without it, really.
After he calls the vote, she can make that next motion. Do you want to add the MOU in?
Yeah, we can add the MOU.
All right, then I'll second the amended motion.
Can I just make one correction in what was stated and to make sure we're on the same page? You said that it's going to come back on an agenda. That was not in the motion.
Okay, I apologize.
It would, right, that's why I just want to clarify. I just heard, so it's to be, what it was to be approved pending plan review, an MOU
In the permitting process.
in the permitting process.
They don't have to come back here.
No.
Correct, but that's why I just wanted to clarify what the motion
Got it.
was.
And to clarify, this is with the press box, correct? The motion?
That's ma'am.
So is there a new motion? Or are we voting on this one?
No, we got a motion, we got a
It's a
second.
motion and a second, so there needs to.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed?
this,
We have five, all
I'm
right.
like, I would
Just to
just hope,
clarify,
Moving on to,
I would just hope that next, I apologize.
can I just clarify what we need to do from
I'm
all of
sorry.
that? I just,
Sorry.
after, okay. Okay.
I would just ask that next time we have a proposal like this, or not like this, that all the loose ends are tied up. That way, it's not chaos up here, and that we make, educated decisions, that we have time to look at what's going on. That's all I ask.
Yeah, we don't want to be voting on things and making decisions based on copies of emails. I'd like to have
Correct.
the proposals outlined properly, and if we need an MOU, have an MOU. If we need, something that has to be looked at by the town solicitor, have the town solicitor look at it. That's the proper way to do things. And I know we make everything subject to, but, then we kind of vote on something and then we see what it's in it later.
Yeah.
item E, consider, discuss, and act upon, well,
Can you just clarify the motion so that the legal
What they have to do.
Hold on a minute.
Again.
We're not normally like a disaster. We're not normal.
Okay, so we have a first and a second that it's approved pending plan review, permitting process, and an MOU.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Great.
Consider, discuss, and act upon a poll petition from Rhode Island Energy Company to install one new pole on Appian Way.
Good evening, Gene Allen, Director of Public Works. I forwarded correspondence that I'm fine with the location of this pole.
We'll be right back. You can go. He'll be right back, it's okay.
So,
We have a motion?
Move passage.
All those in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Thanks, Gene. F, sitting as the Smithfield Water Supply Board, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing amendment number 1 with Beta Group in the amount of $57,000.00 for additional design costs relating to the Route 116 water main interconnection to the Greenville Water District.
Good evening. Gene Allen, Director of Public Works and Water Commissioner. If you recall, previously I was before you and we approved the design contract for Beta Group to do the interconnection with Greenville Water. This is going to be going from Appian Way out to 116, connecting into the existing viaduct, coming over the Farnham Pike. And at that point, we were looking to go up through or cross-country up into the back of the condominium complex and then coming out onto 116. As part of that contract, we wanted to do an evaluation of potential routes. At the time, we were going to look at 2 routes. We actually looked at a 3rd route, which I've documented it before you. Just to do due diligence to make sure that we're spending our money wisely and we have the best route available. One of the routes was going through the condo project. That became difficult as far as a permitting issue because of environmental concerns. We also looked at going north on Farnham and coming down through the existing sewer easement. That also had environmental permitting issues that we would run into. And especially since we have an alternative, which is to stay within the public ways, although they are state, which would be 116 coming up Farnham Pike, going down Pleasant View, and then connecting to the Greenville Water District. So that, as was spelled out in the first presentation that I made, if we had to go that additional footage because of additional borings and additional wetlands flags and design work, that would be an additional $48,000. The other item that's involved in this is because we have almost $2 million worth of grants from the congressionally directed spending and a community grant. They're both administered by the EPA, so we are required to do an environmental assessment. That environmental assessment cannot be done on a phase of a project. What we're looking at right now is phase 1. Second phase would go up Farnham Pike to connect into our existing system to loop the northern portion. And then the third phase would be to go from Appian Way over to Route 7, where we believe that we will qualify for a categorical exclusion. To do that presentation to EPA is $9,000, and you see that in this amendment now, bringing it up to the $57,000. If we are denied the categorical exclusion, then it's probably going to be another $10,000 to do the full environmental assessment, but the $9,000 that we spend now is going to be part of that, so it's not a waste of money. We're just hoping that we don't have to do the entire assessment because we are within the existing right-of-way. Because of the amount of grants that we're receiving, they may require it anyway, but I just think it's worth doing a categorical exclusion request.
Move passage.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item G, consider, discuss, thank you. Consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing the purchase and associated cost of a used ambulance from Greenwood Emergency Vehicles in the amount of $30,000 to be funded from the Capital Reserve Fund.
Good evening. Chief Seltzer from the Fire Department. This particular item, hopefully it made sense with the memo I had sent out to you, but unfortunately, Rescue 3, which was due this June, we were notified in the end of February that it's going to be delayed another year. So the current truck we have has 200,000 miles on it. Our EMS coordinator came across this vehicle that actually was Block Island's rescue. It only has 9,900 miles on it. Never left the island. And so the plan is to take this vehicle, put in place of Rescue 3, put Rescue 3 in reserve. When a new Rescue 3 truck comes in, the new vehicle we put in service, and this vehicle will become our reserve truck, and at that point, the Rescue 3 vehicle is going to be time to sell.
Is there a way to, because this was on the island, you know, the salt water and stuff, can they, like if like a Jeep Wrangler, they can undo the undercarriage, or does it need it? Is it?
I don't think it needs it, because we already had somebody check it, so it was housed all the time.
You know what I mean, being on the
Yeah,
island? Yeah.
so it's housed all the time, is well kept, and their call volume is very low on Block Island.
Yeah.
So, it's a good point, we'll double check. There is something you can, there's actually somebody in North Smithfield that does those coatings underneath the trucks. So we'll take a second look at it, but it is in really nice shape.
Great.
You gonna take the name off it? Says Block Island.
I think it's off already. That would be different than running around Smithfield, right?
Move passage.
We have a second? Second. Any more discussion?
This was unexpected. You found out in January that you weren't going to get the rescue.
Right, it was
this
due
year.
this June, and Ford has delayed the production of chassis. So not only our vendor that we purchased this truck from, most ambulance vendors, they're all on the same boat.
And so you were expecting it this June, so you had the money appropriated in this year's budget for it?
I actually pushed it off. We were going to, but it's not coming in until next budget year.
Right, but 25, it's not in there?
No. We're paying off the old rescue, the pumper, and a ladder.
Okay, maybe I'm off by which number?
Uh,
So which, yeah, so we're talking which engine, I mean, which
Engine
rescue?
one, the new engine one,
Right,
the rescue one will be its final payment. It'll all be paid off, the rescue one we have today, and a payment on a ladder truck.
we gotta come up with new ways to say it because the numbers are killing me. No, so that was one of the things that we cut out because the rescue wasn't gonna be done, but the 30,000 is available to fund that. That money is set aside from other savings that they had in other projects that are in their residual.
So the money is there.
Correct.
To be spent now, because you're going to get this right now, because you need this
Yes,
immediately.
correct,
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Consider to discuss and act upon authorizing the request for proposals for emergency medical service billing.
So this item, the RFP is attached to my cover letter. Our purchasing director, coordinator put it together, the solicitor reviewed it. We're due for sending this out, it hasn't been done for a while. We currently, the current vendor charges 6% on a revenue that they take in. And my checking around with other communities, I'm expecting to come in closer to 4%. So that means we take in more revenue and they collect a little less.
That's
So
great.
This is ready to go. I know Carlos is ready to send it out after it's approved.
Second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Consider this, item L, I, sorry, consider discuss and act upon authorizing the purchase of a new Ford Super Duty F-550 4x4 diesel chassis for Fire Department Rescue 5 in the amount of $299,840.00 from New England Fire Equipment and Apparatus Corporation to be funded through the Smithfield Capital Lease Fund.
As described in the memo you have, it's taken 3 years to get ambulances now. It's totally ridiculous. And we are due to replace Rescue 1 in the next, not this budget, but the next budget in 2026. This is going to take almost a year and a half. A new vehicle in today's dollars is $425,000 for an ambulance. They've gone up ridiculously. This remount, because the box is in really good shape, is $299. It includes a brand-new Ford chassis, and they go through the entire box. They replace the lighting, the upholstery, the flooring, repaint it. It comes out like a brand-new truck. So I think it's wise to is to try this and look at it because it may be a smart way to go in the future. Unfortunately, with the amount of runs we're doing on EMS calls, now I hate to say this, but these are throwaway trucks. In a 5-year time period, we're putting 200,000 miles on these trucks.
Chief, what's the average per week now of runs?
Well, we're doing 450, so we were doing around 390 to 400 a month. The last 2 months, we've done over 450 a month. So we're doing about 110, 115 runs a week. Wow. It's been busy, and the majority of that is, 80% of it is EMS runs.
Thank you.
Very busy.
Move passage.
We have a second?
And this isn't our capital improvement plan, by the way. That is in the plan.
And this was in the budget?
This will be, this was scheduled to go out into the 2026. So it's going to take, I forget, it was roughly 14 to 16 months for this to happen.
So
we won't see
it'll
it.
be in the 26 budget then?
So it's just moving it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the
Big
time, yeah, unfortunately, it used to be in 9 months you could have a truck, and it's not anymore.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Item J, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a resolution to finance the purchase of a Ford Super Duty F-550 4x4 diesel chassis through the Smithfield Capital Lease Fund.
So attached again to the memo here, you have the actual resolution. It's the same one we use for all of our apparatus.
Okay.
Move passage.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
All right, Jay. Okay, consider,
Thank you.
discuss, thank you. Consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing change order number 1 for RGB Architects in the amount not to exceed $50,000 to extend owner's project management services for the Boyle Athletic Complex through July 31st, 2024.
Thank you, Council President. Council members, this item was approved prior to by the Boyle Athletic Committee, was on for approval with the school committee last evening. This item was included in what our budget is and available funds. It kind of fell through the cracks at the timing of when it was to be approved, and luckily we've had a OPM that continues to work without getting paid. But he is definitely owed some dollars, and this is a not to exceed 50,000, where as we continue to wind down, it's just a lot of the closeout stuff and get the field open.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Tom Hodgkins, 200 Frenham Pike. The original contract was $57,700, right? And this is a change order, almost doubling the amount of the contract? It's 50,000, right? Okay. And this is for the concession stand bidding, which wasn't actually bid, the one that the council voted on, and also an extension through July, is that right? That's what I'm reading. So on February 20th of this year, there's a pretty extensive agenda item on the concession stand. The price was $750. Throughout that hearing, nobody brought up that there was going to be an extra $50,000 of OPM costs, or either, I guess it's bid preparation costs for that concession stand. At that hearing, the council committed that no taxpayer dollars would be used for the concession stand. Is that still the case?
For the actual concession stand, yes, and as mentioned, that I know Mr. Mancucci is behind you and he's ready to answer your questions. These other services have been going on since November. As you can see, the whole list of everything on the change order. So the concession is one piece of that, but they've been working since November, on different aspects of this project, which is included in the overall project budget for the entire Boyle Athletic Complex. And the reason for the timing until July is all the closeout paperwork that's necessary in order for the reimbursement to take place. But I defer to the expert behind you.
How much outside funding has the town received for the concession stand to date?
Nothing yet.
How much money has the town spent on the concession stand to date?
Nothing.
So that money will become due once the town gets a requisition and the concession stand is completed?
Correct.
So is the town going to have $750,000 of outside funding by the end of June?
No.
So some town funds are going to be used to pay for that.
Town funds are not going to be used. Cash is going to be spent in order to pay for it, but all of the funds, as we discussed at that meeting, are going to be replenished by those funds. But I know if you allow the school department to speak, this is items that have been on their agenda for that end of the project and the fundraising. So Mr. Mancucci or the superintendent or the CFO can answer those questions.
Okay. Can I ask the rest of the questions I have, or do you want to hear from him first?
It's up to you.
Okay. Was the council aware of this $50,000 at the hearing on the concession stand on February 20th?
I don't think I was
I
aware
don't
of
recall.
it. This memo is dated March 7th, and it says that the requested change order is subject to approval by the town council at their March 19th meeting.
Additionally, the document is signed February 8th, so I'm just confused as to why we're getting this now.
That was my next question. So a couple weeks before the February 20th hearing on the concession stand, the town was issued a change order dated February 8th, which, I mean, and it's got a sum certain on it, so there must have been some discussion before February 8th about that. So 2 weeks before that, the town was issued this change order. The hearing comes up. The council's not told about the 50,000. The council is told at the hearing that it's critical that they vote on the concession stand that night because the work had to be completed by June 30th. But then we have the change order from 2 weeks before, which already envisions that the work's not going to be done by June 30th because it's extending the OPM services to July 31st. This all seems like it would have been important information for the council to have at the February 20th hearing before voting on a $750,000 change order. With respect to the fundraising, the issue of fundraising that was presented to the council on February 20th was a couple of bricks or some other things. It's my understanding that school committee has voted to move forward with that fundraising, but it's going to be only for maintenance of that field. Is there any plan in place to raise the $750,000 to build the concession stand? So the council's not aware of it.
All of that is behind.
Wasn't that supposed to be handled by the Boyle Athletic Complex
Correct,
Committee?
but the policy itself is before the school committee, and I need the school committee to answer that question.
So the change order that's been presented to the council is for $50,000. There's no invoices, there's no billing statements, there's no description of the work. The contract called for additional work to be billed hourly. Has the town received invoices or billing statements for this $50,000 change order?
He's gonna answer your question, so if you have any more.
Okay, I guess I'm unclear, because I'm asking the town if it's received it, and I'm not getting an answer, so I'm not sure why.
No, we have questions, but you don't want the answers. Mr. Bertucci has the answers for you, but you won't let him speak, sir.
Councilman, I'm asking if the town has received it. We're talking about the school department. I'm asking the town council if they've received it.
Good evening. Angela Mancucci, Smithfield Public Schools. Just to give a little history on this change order, first and foremost, the OPM is a crucial part of the building project, and we would not receive RIDE funding without an OPM on the project. In reference to the timing of this particular invoice or change order, we go through a proper channel. At first, it goes before the Boyle Committee, then it would go before a school committee, and then it would go before town council. So when we receive this invoice, and as you can see, the OPM has been working at risk since that time period. When this come to our attention, we had asked for a contract from the OPM to say, give us a contract that shows us a not to exceed. We had received that, and then we put it through the proper channels. And I expressed this as a not to exceed number. And also, the OPM had started in April of 2022. He was one of the first people brought on board that helped select the architect for the program, and is a crucial piece that is necessary for the project to move forward.
I'd like to point something out that I just realized. This memo is to the school committee, and the motion is for the school committee by the Smithfield School Department. It has nothing to do with us on here. So that seems like a problem in itself to me.
I know Carlos had drafted a memo. I'm not sure what was put in.
It's dated March 7th to Honorable School Committee from the Director of Finance. And the motion is, like I said, this is just a memo to the school committee. It's not even to us, so.
It must have been one that you'd put together.
This is the one that you're reading is the one that we sent before school committee, but Carlos, your purchasing agent, did send one to council. Whether the wrong one was in your.
So was there a different memo from Carlos that just didn't get to us?
I believe so, because I saw it.
Okay. Okay, so what's the dates? Maybe that's the clarification, because on the memo that went to the school committee stated at that time that the town council was going to take it up on March 19th. So was that when the original dates when things were going on? And then, because I can't remember the date that it actually came before the Boyle off the top of my
I
head.
believe, did you have that meeting canceled? Was the March 19th meeting postponed? No. I know there was one meeting, whether
It was the April date, the second meeting in April.
Okay.
So to push this off, what would be the repercussions? Because obviously the dates are all shawkwad anyway over here, so.
Well, if I may suggest, if we can just move passage and let me know what I need to rectify to get before the solicitor.
Solicitor Galone, is this even legally we can pass this? Because it's not even addressed to us. It's a document addressed to a different committee.
It was a document that was presented to the.
School committee.
School committee.
Right, but it's in front of us, so.
We're not even on this document. This isn't formal
I'm saying, like, we can't really do
Do
it.
you have any explanation?
Sure. Hi, Melissa Devine. I'm the Director of Finance for the School Department. And the school committee, that memo was my memo to the school committee, which once the school committee had voted on it, I forwarded it to the town council. And I believe that Carlos puts together his memo, and I thought that that memo had gone forward. What we do on our side is present the memo in the motion to the school committee, and then once that's passed on our end, usually the Boyle Committee votes first, but it happened to be that our meeting occurred first, and then we sent that over to the town. So maybe it just didn't get sent in your package. I don't know for sure. I don't want to put anything that maybe it did not get, but he typically takes our memos and then he creates a memo for the council.
Yeah, that's all well and fine, but, you know, this is just the third thing that's not correct that we have to modify and all this, so I don't know what else to say.
So the school committee did already vote, and that, it was probably dated because that's when I created my memo, but the school committee did vote on it earlier. And I believe that it was just before the meeting was canceled in April. So it was the previous school committee meeting, and I don't have that with me, so I could check that date. But again, we voted, and then we sent the memo down to the town to put forth. So I'm not sure if is there legal, and again, I'm obviously not the attorney, but it's all in the same as I'm here presenting on behalf of the school to the council. Is a memo, because the memo was not directed to the council, does that eliminate?
It's appropriately on the agenda, however, the council didn't have the benefit of the backup information. And the question is how much, is the project over budget? Where's the money coming from?
Mhm.
Is this $50,000 in addition to the $750,000 that was before the council back in February? Because then that's an increase in.
Correct. This is all part of the budget, and the town manager and myself have met on multiple occasions. The $50,000 is part of the budget. It has nothing to do with the $745. That's for the concession stand. However, we did meet, and this is part of the budget. So there was some other savings in here, but they, as the town manager mentioned, the OPM is required to have on staff in order for the entire project to be submitted for RIDE approval. So the OPM firm had worked at their own risk to continue with the project going, because also, in addition to the owner's OPM being required as part of RIDE's process, it's also required that the project is completed, substantially complete, by June 30th. And his contract goes to July because they usually do punch list items, but we need to have a substantial completion done by June 30th. And again, those two things, if they do not happen, the project would not be reimbursed by RIDE.
Question of clarification, just for my benefit, is it says it also says in your memo that is subject to approval by the Boyle Athletic Committee at their April 4th meeting. They were on time, they had their April 4th, and they passed this $50,000 at that meeting?
Correct, the Boyle Committee has already passed this.
Okay, so we were the only ones who missed our date.
So separate and apart, and I apologize to the council, I will make sure the individuals that were responsible for completing the end of the additional memo and so forth will be addressed in the morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I wanted to ask my questions again that didn't get answered. Has the town or the school committee, school department, received billing invoices or statements with regards to this $50,000?
We have not, and I know Ms. Devine will be more than happy to answer on the school department, but we have not.
So again, the invoices have been sent over and emailed within the last 3 or 4 weeks, because we had told them that we did not have approval to pay, and he was willing to, and I think he even said it at the Boyle meeting, that he was going to work at his own risk because he knew how important it was for the project to continue to move forward to meet the deadlines. So we have invoices being held, but they'll all have to be brought forward to the proper governing boards to be approved. So we do have invoices for work, but they're not going to be presented unless we have the approval to move forward.
Thank you.
I'm going to move to table this item to the next meeting pending, I'm going to move to table this item pending the receipt from the purchasing agent of a memo.
Second.
You had a motion already.
Oh, you did.
Well, no one seconded it.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't? Okay.
No, I don't think he.
All right, maybe it was last, I'm sorry.
That was 3 weeks ago.
Motion to table.
I seconded it.
Second.
Any more discussion? Is this going to slow the project down? I'm sorry. Is this gonna slow the project down?
It would be up, I'm sorry. So it would be up to the OPM, his services, if he's going to continue to work at risk. But again, I know that he has been, and Angelo has a good relationship with him. I mean, when, the next council meeting is?
May 21st.
Okay. So it's in a week and a half, so.
So just as a point of clarification, we followed every letter of the law. We passed in our paperwork on time. We brought it before the proper committees. And because of a misstep, and our OPM has been working in kind for quite some time, I just want that to make sure that we didn't, make a mistake. I didn't want to bring something forward to you that wasn't ready. So if you could take that in consideration, because he has been working at risk for a long period of time, and this individual is crucial. Like right now, we're going into, tomorrow we start putting up the grandstands. He needs to be on site. I have to have him there to make sure things are done properly and to make sure the construction methods are followed. So I hate to leave it in that arena, but I will go with the will of the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
It just puts us in a bad spot if we don't have what we need. And I'm not trying to belabor the point here, whoever's fault it is what it is. But it's almost insulting that, we keep getting these things and it's not complete. So I would agree with tabling it. Obviously, I seconded the motion.
Just as John Hodgins, 200 Fronter Pike, just as a matter for when this comes back to the council, the contract called for additional work to be billed hourly. The council is being asked to approve an amount for work that has not been done yet and has not been billed yet. Some of it has been, but not all of it. So it doesn't seem like it would comply with the contract to approve some amount that, or the town shouldn't be expected to do that, to approve some amount for work that isn't done yet. So it seems like when this comes back to the council should be presented with the number that's been billed to date, and then at a later time be billed again. But it's a billing by hourly. So the town should be paying, what should be presented to the council is what's been billed already, not prospectively.
Can I just add one more thing? So, as I continue to apologize about the memo not being proper, and I completely agree, the actual legal document that's included in here is legitimate and has been reviewed by the solicitor and has been approved by both the school committee and the Boyle Athletic Committee. And this individual has continued to work and not gotten paid the entire time. So I leave that with you because we do need him, as Mr. Mancucci said. So that's the last thing I have to say about that.
So just again, to clarify, they're at risk of what exactly? Not
Getting paid.
the architect, you're saying?
You have a project
The OPM
manager.
walks, the project won't be done in time, and.
Yeah, what's
He-
the
he
worst
tomorrow
case
could say,
scenario?
I'm not coming in, I'm not,
Good. Well,
And the
if
grandstands
he's
don't go
working,
up.
if the project manager isn't getting paid, he can say.
Then you have to
"I'm
start
out,
from
see you
scratch?
later." And then you risk reimbursement down the road.
You have to get a new project manager, is that what you're saying? This is just terrible.
there's no time because
This is
it
just
has to be done
terrible.
before,
Really.
So there's a motion on the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Have another motion?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Aye. Item L, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals for the purchase of one truck for the school department.
Good evening, Angela Mancucci, Smithfield Public Schools. You have the RFP before you. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
This is for that second truck, right?
Move passage. They did a nice job cleaning out the locker
Nice,
and the
nice.
showers and turning the water off. Nice job.
Seconded.
Any discussion? We already talked. Is it? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item M, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals for workman's compensation and employer's liability insurance for the school department.
Good evening. Again, we have before you to go out to bid, permission to bid for the life insurance for the school department that is contractual, and this would be for going out to bid from the general operating budget.
Is that every 3 years?
Yes.
Move passage.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item N, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals for group life insurance for the school department.
Same thing, permission to bid, and this is for the life insurance that's contractual, and I apologize, M was the workers' comp, and that is law. So permission to bid, again, from the general operating budget.
Same thing, 3 years?
Correct.
Move passage.
Seconded.
I'm assuming that there already is group life insurance in place,
Correct.
so this would be a bid out for a new insurance? company?
Correct, yeah, so so you can only enter into an agreement for up to 3 years, and so we're in the last year, it expires on June 30th.
And does the employee pay part of this insurance?
No, they do not.
So it's all paid for by the school department?
Correct.
And this is under the contract with the school teachers union contract?
It is with all the bargaining agreements that are in place with the school department, as well as the individual contractual agreements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion?
I did.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals for the purchase of 2 mowers for the Parks and Rec Department, subject to review by the town solicitor.
Good evening, Council. Bobby Kane, Parks and Recreation. So this is to go out for a proposal to replace a couple of mowers that we've had for almost 15 years, 2008 and a 2012. They both have over 5,000 hours on them right now, so they're very tired.
Sounds good.
Move passage.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item P, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals for financial audit services for fiscal year 2024.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Shawnier, Finance Director. I am requesting for a proposal for our fiscal year '24 financial audit services with a 2 one-year extensions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the school department billed separately for the audit
Yes, they are.
services provided?
Yes, they are.
They're billed separately?
No, they're not billed separately. I apologize.
No, we are all billed under the same, and we pay for the whole thing.
We pay for the whole thing?
Correct.
Sorry.
Move passage.
Seconded.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Item Q, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals for East Smithfield Neighborhood Center Phase 2 rehabilitation and renovations, subject to review by the town solicitor.
Thank you, Council President. So this item kind of coincides with our fantastic grant that we received for the East Smithfield Neighborhood Center. This Phase 2 will do the complete build-out for the rest of the neighborhood center and get it fully operational.
Move passage.
Seconded.
Is there I'm assuming there are plans that are drawn up in detail as to what the job is?
Yes, and then it's an electronic system, so that the bidders will be downloading those in CAD and all of that.
So they'll be able to see all of that?
Yes, you just need to go on to that system once it goes live. We didn't put them in the book.
No, I understand why.
But I'll be more than happy to get a set printed too if you want to see them. It's really interesting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item R, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a request for proposals to furnish and install vape detector sensors in 2 school buildings, subject to review by town solicitor.
Angela Mancucci, Smithfield Public Schools. This is vape detection system that we were going out to bid. The funding source would be Title IV grants that would pay for this, and they would be put in the middle school and in the high school in various lab locations. If you notice,
I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
if you notice in attachment A, how we broke it out, we're looking to save money if we want to see first what the vendor comes forward with for costs associated with the purchase of the Halo system, that is the spec. If we're looking to purchase the Halo system ourselves and supply that to the vendor to install, to try to save on some of the costs associated with this project, which I think is necessary.
Angelo,
Ian?
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Angelo, I have a few questions for you, actually. So are there any other school departments that use these in Rhode Island?
We had a site visit, I think it was in South Kingston, that we had people go out there, and the system, the Halo system, is the system that is most used and most reliable under the conditions found within a school environment.
So I'm wondering why a bathroom monitor is not sufficient, and why are these needed, really? I mean, obviously, it's a vaping problem, maybe, but
I think a bathroom monitor is located outside a lab when, as we all understand and review vaping, it is very hard to detect because it has very little odor, but it does have a moisture barrier that surrounds it. So these detectors, would be subject to check vaping.
So I looked at the website for it, and it says schools can also use a sensor as an anti-bullying tool by programming the device to monitor for certain spoken words, aggressive behavior, device tampering, and gunshots. So it looks like it could be programmed to,
There's 3 different kinds. I looked it up.
Yeah.
They are only buying the one for vape.
Yeah.
No, there's 3 different kinds.
Councilman, so anyways, that's what it said, and it appears that it does have certain capabilities. Is that correct or no?
Not the one that we're purchasing.
Because I went on their website and I have the Halo Sensor 3C
Halo
here.
sensors, you are correct. Halo makes sensors for just about anything you want.
No, it's the 3C, the one that you guys want.
Yeah, but you can also order it just to have that. All it will do is give an electronic signal to either a cell phone or a designated person, and also proper response to an incident.
Didn't have super favorable reviews either. And in general, I'm not in favor of this sort of surveillance kind of stuff. I get it, there's a problem, but sort of, I don't know. I'm not really a fan, but I'm willing to learn more information.
The funding for this is coming solely from grants. No school
Title IV.
department money is being used.
There's a Title IV grant that is earmarked for.
Do you already have the grant?
Correct.
And this is just an RFP, right?
This is just an RFP to see what it's like.
Mr. President, I just have 2 quick questions. Where would these, I assume, will be mounted on the ceiling?
That is correct, sir.
Is there any fear about them being ripped off the ceiling and disappeared?
Yes, there is.
Okay, that was my first thing, because it's going to happen. You know what'll happen. All right, then the second thing
If I could
is-
answer, just add to that question, we also have heat detectors that go for an exorbitant amount of money that are also in the labs. Currently, not so much vandalism caused by it.
They sent up, well, that's actually follows up to my next question. These alarms, when they go off, who do they send it to? Is it the police, and is it going to
No,
dump
it
the
sends to
building?
a central administration in the building itself.
I do want to note that one review said that they are useless and false positives are driving us mad at the school. Kids spray deodorant and it goes off.
That is factual.
So that's not fun.
No.
Okay.
It's true.
Could these end up being more trouble than they're worth?
I don't know yet. So, but I do believe that moving forward in a positive direction to try to curb this issue that happens in public schools is the right direction to go. Those answers, I hope we can find in the future.
It's a problem in every school district, Even Catholic schools, it's a problem everywhere now. And if you don't put them in, we're just inviting it to just keep on going. But to get to Sean's point about damage, I mean, as soon as you hit it, the alarm goes off. So it's not like it's something that's going to be going on and on and on and on and on as soon as they hit it, you know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hi, Del Cabral, 15 Stony Lane.
What do you know about this? You know about math, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm also a hall monitor at 2 periods every 7 days, and I physically cannot go into the stalls, so probably not a good thing. So today I went to pick up my granddaughter, and as I was driving, it was going about 40 miles an hour, and then there was like a little 30 sign. You know what I immediately did? I slowed down to about 30. I went 30 for about a quarter of a mile, and then I went back to 40. That's what we're doing here. It's basically the same thing. It's a deterrent for students. I think word will get around. I mean, it's a try. It's not going to cost the town of Smithfield any money for it. And there is an issue with the vaping. And unfortunately, us hall monitors cannot be walking into bathrooms and because they go right in stalls. And that's a big privacy issue. But I would approve it if I were you, but I'm not you. So have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the motion asks us to advertise for the RFP. I'm assuming that RFP is the grants that they're going to be advertising for?
No, it's for the actual specifications that go on the street to get bidders to, come up with the amount that would be funded by the grant.
Angelo, can you confirm that this device that you're going out to bid for will not serve as it does not have the capability for this anti-bullying tool, to be programmed to catch people's whatever words they want and all of that?
I'm only expecting a 3C device, and to say what capabilities it would do, we would not initiate such a thing. We're only looking to trace vaping in the bathrooms.
Well, I'm not really getting a clear answer. I just want to confirm that you're getting a one that does not have those capabilities, because if you can implement those capabilities in the future, I'm definitely against that, personally. Even though I'm only one vote, it's still going to pass probably, but I'm just saying.
That
my
would be
own.
an invasion of privacy.
Dawn Bart, Superintendent of Schools. May I address that
Of
question?
course, please.
We have different mechanisms for bullying. This is not for bullying. This is because it is a deterrent for vaping, and it is a health and safety issue. We have federal grants that we can apply for and install these in 2 of our schools. I think they're absolutely necessary, and we need to move forward with this. As I said, this is health and safety issues. And it is not bullying. We have different anti-bullying. We bought these for one purpose, anti-vaping.
Do they have that capability, though?
No, not as far as I know. This is the first I've heard of it. That was not what we were looking for. We are looking for vape devices. It had to match the grant specification. The grant is directly for vaping in bathrooms at the secondary level.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, one second. 1 second. So let's have a scenario. One of these devices goes off. What happens? Can you run us through that?
So how I would use it if I was the principal, let's say an assistant principal in the high school building. It's programmed onto my phone. I have an area of the high school that I am walking around in typically. It would be in between classes where the issue of vaping would be occurring. So administrators are already out. Teachers like Mr. Cabral are also getting ready to go back in their classrooms. So it's easy to be able to determine which bathroom the vape detector is going in on, and also to intercede and find out. As you know, as certainly as Councilmember Tassoni knows, vapes can be used for different things, including drug use. So this really could be, I would just say it's student safety and could potentially avert a tragedy, whereas without the vape detectors, there's currently 3 administrators in the building, 750 students. This allows them to pinpoint exactly where it is and to be in that location because a vape detector alarm has gone off in their phone. Again, if there's a safety issue, but also it is not allowed in the school, it's not allowed in the school grounds. So let's take care of this while the kids are in our high school and in our middle school.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item S, consider, discuss, and act upon authorizing a bid award for 2024 statistical revaluation services.
Good evening, council members. We received one bid from Vision Appraisal, and we received, Chris Lest, Town Tax Assessor. One bid from Vision Appraisal, who's been doing the revals for many, many cycles, and we received a letter from Tyler stating that they were not going to bid at this time. I did review the proposal. Again, I've worked with Vision before. They've done the reval before I first got here, and so they're our sole bid, and they're a qualified bid, and so I ask for your approval.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item T, consider,
Thank you.
discuss, and act upon a bid award for one truck for the school department.
These chairs are going to kill us.
What?
They are.
I did.
It's trying to wake us up. It's 9 o'clock.
Good evening.
I say, hey, minding my own business over here.
So do we have a motion on the table for the purchase of the new truck?
No.
No, he's got to explain, please.
This is for the food truck, the box, 16-foot
food
box.
truck, correct?
Yes, correct. And is funded, 67% is funded through our food service program. And you see the specifications have been met. The good piece about this bid, how it came in, is that the bidder does have a, believe it or not, a truck and chassis in stock, which is very rare. You'll usually wait a year, almost 2 years for this truck. So all we would have to do is wait for the box to be installed, and we would most likely have this vehicle by the end of September, which is very rare, as you heard the chief earlier on the purchase of vehicles of this size.
That's because you got connections and he doesn't.
I don't, no one has more connections than the
Move
chief.
passage.
Seconded.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Item
you.
U, consider, discuss, and act upon a bid award for boiler cleaning for the school department. What? I don't know. Just-
I feel like we do it every year.
yeah, just-
Angelo, is that boiler cleaning, is that gas or oil? Okay.
Excuse me. These are gas-fired condensing boilers that are very high efficiency. The reason why we're only doing the 3 elementary schools is that previous years, they were still under warranty and the cleaning was covered. And now that this year that we're putting in new vessels have been installed at the high school and middle school, we only need to have the 3 elementary schools cleaned and the administration, which is an oil-fired vessel.
Move passage.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item V, consider, discuss, and act upon a bid award for concession services at Deerfield Park.
Good evening, Council. Bobby Kane, Parks and Recreation. So, as you know, we've tried to go out a couple of times before for the concession stand at Deerfield. We're trying to open up the Deerfield all day since we have the splash pad, as well as for the games at night. We did receive only one bid. It's the same person who does the ice rink. So we're looking to move to award them that bid.
What is the amount, Bob?
$2,800.
How much?
$2,800 a year.
And what does that equate to per month? Is it 5 months?
No, it's more like 7.
7 months?
Yeah, April to October-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I guess 2,800 is better than nothing. Move passage.
Seconded. Any more discussion?
Have good hot.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item W, consider, discuss, and act upon a short-term contract renewal with Viola Water for operation and maintenance of wastewater treatment facilities.
Come on up here, Gene. Waited long enough.
No, it's not.
No, it's not deep.
No. So this item before the town council, it's kind of the last small extension for the sewer treatment plant. Unfortunately, Mr. Claire wasn't able to get this completely wrapped up before he left. But this item will allow us to stay with Veolia Water through June 30th of '24, and we will have the full long-term contract finalized and before the council in anticipation of that.
Is this, the references in here to the 2013 contract, should that be 2023? Is that a misprint?
What page are you on? Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm.
Page 1, paragraph 1.
Oh, yeah, no, so it's based off of the current one that's existing, the 2013 one. The new contract has not been finalized to be used.
So it's a 10-year contract.
The new one, yes, as well as the last one was too.
Right, right.
Yes, sir.
Passage seconded.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment is not on the agenda, but it should have been, so we have public comment. If anyone would like to get up and speak, they're more than welcome.
Thank you. Tom Hodgkins, 200 Fernham Pike. I sent the council a letter this morning addressing a few issues, one of those being some recent meetings by the Greenville Public Library. At the agenda for the Greenville Public Library meeting on April 25th of this year, they convened into executive session to discuss litigation. That's not a description that complies with the Open Meeting Act. So I see two options there. One is they violated the Open Meetings Act and they discussed one of the two ongoing litigations that we know about. The other option is that there's new potential litigation, and they left the word potential out, but that there's new or threatened litigation. I think the town should have an answer to that before the budget hearing, and so that's why I'm asking the council now to get an answer from the Greenville Library about what exactly was meant by that agenda item. And I think the answer you're going to get is either, one, it was about the old stuff, or there's potential litigation, or they say, we're not going to tell you because we don't have to. Any of those answers, I think, are informative for the budget process. And I think we should know that answer before the council votes on the budget in June. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hostage.
Ed DeMayo, 75 Whipple. I agree with Rachel with the privacy thing. So what I was going to say was, the first phase of that vape is great. If it goes into another phase, have it in the written words that they're taken down. And is there a rental fee, or she said they own it? There's no rental fee for this unit. They own it outright, and it's coming from grants, so that's great. It's a win-win. But if there's some words, terminology that says, if it goes to that second and third level, they're taken out.
Thank you. Anyone else?